Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Colo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Pools on social media.
Hey everyone, on today's episode, Jen is going to explain the Spring Equinox.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
So, my bad. I thought I posted the community discussion post for eclipses. I made the Canva and everything. I downloaded it, and then I think
You didn't post it?
Yeah, I think I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Well, we can blame it on the eclipses, right?
Eclipses and Mercury retrograde coming up.
It's all good. I think it's funny since we posted that episode every now and then since that came out, I'm like, be careful, don't manifest because it's the eclipse season.
Yes. Even though the eclipse hasn't happened yet, like the energy is still there. It's winding up.
And I got some personal feedback. I just got some feedback that people really like the idea of, just taking your time to recharge and refresh and kind of take inventory of the things you have. So that's the feedback that I got. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. I'm definitely so interested to see how this equinox, but these eclipses play together, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
And then we forgot to mention during the last episode, we're actually going into another Mercury retrograde as well, right?
Oh my God, yes.
And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. It's really good. And then listen to the follow-up episode, Astrocartography. They kind of go hand in hand. So we talked about Mercury retrograde, and then in the next episode, we talked about some of the struggles we had with Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting year because the last time that there was eclipses in Mercury retrograde was 2021 when all that stuff happened.
So it's going to be pure chaos, huh?
We're better prepared this time. I think we're better prepared.
I think so. This year has been a really good year, I think. Did we start the podcast this year? No, last year. Mm-hmm. But towards the end, right? Yeah, but no, this year so far has been really, really good. We got a lot of money moves, as Cardi B would say, going on.
So, as we said, eclipses are dramatic openings, dramatic beginnings, dramatic endings. And I randomly got promoted on Friday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So I was like, this is very on brand for eclipse season, but I'm not mad at it. So that was awesome.
Well, okay, hold on. What do you mean on brand with eclipse season? Because I thought this was the season that, nothing really happens. Is it the refresh part?
That's what we're supposed to do, but the universe keeps doing what it needs to do. Oh, we just can't stand in its way.
Got it.
Or shouldn't. Not. You can do what you want, but we shouldn't.
And funny enough, speaking of manifestation, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but you attended a workshop at the beginning of the year, or maybe towards the end of last year with... It wasn't a vision board workshop. Is that what it was?
It was a vision board workshop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And on that board, it was get a promotion, and you have it in the room, so I kind of see it as well every day. But I was like, I wonder if that part of her vision board is going to come true this year. And I think it was 2 days later, you're like, hey, by the way, I just got a promotion.
Yeah.
So it's funny how the universe works. And your vision board, I would say, is about 80% complete, right? Everything you put on there for 2024 is most of it has already happened, and we're barely in March.
Yeah, it's been very interesting how that works.
Or Q1 for those of you who work in sales or tech. That's how I have to see the world now. I never really understood quarters, and now everything's Q1 goals, Q2 goals. So that's kind of how I see things.
So, speaking of, time is a trip. Depending on who you ask, time works in different ways. So, this is actually revving up to be the beginning of the new astrological year. So we'll talk about that. But first, what is an equinox? So an equinox happens twice. There is a spring equinox and a fall equinox. And that's when the daytime and the nighttime are equal. It happens 2 times a year.
So there's equinoxes and solstice. Are those related?
Yeah, so solstices are the winter solstice and the
Summer.
summer solstice. Yes. So,
Oh, and the equinox is the spring equinox and fall equinox.
yes, the solstices are different. So, the winter solstice is the shortest daylight of the year, but then the summer solstice is the longest daylight of the year or the longest day of the year.
I did not know that. And so you said, what are the equinoxes? They're
Equal. So think equinox like equal day and equal night twice a year. And one celebrates
oh,
spring coming in and one celebrates fall coming in.
okay. And when is the equinox this year?
This year it is, oh my god, I just had it
Girl,
up.
come on.
I know.
How are you not
On the
gonna have
19th, on the 19th.
talk about Mercury retrograde, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so on the 19th, and today we're filming, it's the 17th, so in 2
Yes.
days.
Yes, so it's very timely.
Yeah.
Technically, it's on the 19th at night. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's okay. 19th, 20th, más o
Okay.
menos.
And so that's the definition of the equinox.
Yes.
Okay. Now, metaphysically or spiritually, why does the equinox matter?
So, if you follow, sort of like this northern astrology, it's based a lot around the sun. So, this is moving into Aries season. Aries marks the beginning of the astrological year. So, it's really like our new year because in the winter, you're supposed to be hibernating, you're supposed to be chilling. It's not going with the natural rhythm of nature. But then once we get into Aries season with the spring equinox, it's like, okay, this is the new year because there's a lot of life, there's a lot of rebirth.
Oh, so that's kind of like 3 New Years, right? It's the westernized January 1st. Then there's this equinox you speak about, and then there's the Lunar New Year. So,
Yeah,
bless you.
thank you.
I am not going to cut that sneeze out, and this is why. The only thing I hope you guys heard the sneeze, but the only thing I had prepared for this episode were like the damn fucking allergies. Oh my god. So
They're pretty bad.
spring is okay. I like spring. I don't hate the weather. It's, tepid and nice. But boy, do I suffer from allergies. And we'll go more into like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I have some hot takes on this. So
So for those of you that know the archetypes or stereotypes of the astrology, Aries is like, unhinged, grab life by the horns. It's a fire sign. And yeah, that definitely correlates with like all of this bloom, all of this growth. It was like all dead and gloomy, and all of a sudden things are blooming. It's nice and green. So that definitely tracks. It's just interesting that this year because if it was like a normal year without Mercury retrograde and eclipses and all of that happening, I'd be like, just treat it like the new year, like all the new year shit that you would do in the dead of winter, just do it now. But because the conditions are different, there's going to have to be a different way to like celebrate and optimize and make the most out of this new year, this time. Yeah.
got it.
Very
And so what are the ways?
I would say, so you have a couple factors. So you have this like new energy, this new birth. So we feel optimized, like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's great outside. Let's do something. But then you have the eclipses. So manifesting is like not recommended.
Do they usually fall on the same time, or this is a unique year?
It's a unique year. It's not always the same.
Mm.
Yeah. And then you have Mercury retrograde with communication that could be less optimal impacted. So I was really pondering like, how can you make the best out of this time with this new energy? And it's honestly just trying things to have fun without a goal. It's sort of like what a lot of people, but especially you and I talk about, where it's like you want to do something and then you're like, oh, it's only worth it if I'm really, really good at it and can monetize. It's like, do it because you want to do it. And I feel like that's really the energy this time with these specific planetary conditions. It's like, if you've wanted to do something, go without an agenda. Just be in the moment and have fun.
Well, see, I like that because I think our generation, specifically the millennials, we suffer from that. I think, like you said, we're always trying to anything we're adventurous in about, or like working on, or even trying to take a side hustle, or like we try to squeeze everything out of it, right? And well, it's good. Unfortunately, we don't live in a time anymore where working, a 9 to 5 blue collar job can afford you the house, the picket fence, and 2 cars. Like we don't live in that time anymore. So I get the pressures of like everything needs to be monetized. We need to be hustling. We need to be moving. But a good reminder of that is just like, or I think a good reminder in general is social media is so curated that it almost seems like we're all going 1,000 miles per hour, and we're really not. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that meme that it's like, oh man, I'm so busy this weekend. And then it's like a picture of you just sleeping in on the weekend. But that's okay, right? It's okay to take those times and be like, I just need to relax. I just need to chill. I feel like you and I are go, go, go. And now we need to schedule this like downtime. I mean, it's a pleasure doing the podcast and I really enjoy it. But there are times where we're like, damn, we have to record it. Like, I'm so tired, but we got to pull through it. And one thing we did tell ourselves when we started was like, we always have to bring good energy when we're doing this podcast. We always have to be upbeat. Usually once we get started, it flows really well. But no, I agree. I think whether it's Equinox or not, I like that idea of like, not everything has to have an end goal. You don't have to run, the full marathon. You could do a half marathon or, even 2K.
Yeah, so like if you wanted to go back to the gym, don't go back to the gym to be like, I want to lose this much weight and I want to have this killer body. It's like, just go and have fun and experiment with, I've always wanted to try weightlifting. We'll see how this feels on my body. I've always wanted to try yoga. I've always wanted to try Zumba, or I've always wanted to try to paint. Like, this is the time for you to like put energy into things just for fun, just for the vibe, just for the experience. Someone talked to us about hiking, and I passed this beautiful spot near us, and I was like, I want to go outside. It's nice. I want to, like, now that it's not raining and stuff, but without like a specific end goal in mind. So
Yeah.
does that make sense?
No,
The concept of new beginnings without specific endings, or without like trying to manifest anything.
It makes total sense. And like you said, maybe this year's the perfect year to do that, just because with the eclipses and all that, like this is the time to really be unstructured, be like unchaotic, and kind of just let the universe take you where it's going to take you.
Mhm.
Right? Am I?
Yeah. But any other time, I would have said do the stereotypical New Year stuff this time, but this is a different year.
Okay. So tell us more about the spring equinox.
Yeah. So this time of year is like super duper busy. So along with being the new year in astrology, there's also there was a spring Western Germanic deity of fertility and rebirth that was celebrated in something called Ostara.
Okay.
It sounds a lot like Easter.
Well, I guess, but
I think it does.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Ostara was a Western Germanic pagan spring celebration that basically there was this goddess that came to Earth, and the Earth was like really cold and damp, and it was her job to like bring it to life. And so she brought spring, she brought the color, she brought the fun, the warmth. So that's basically like a tradition that a lot of modern witches still celebrate during the spring equinox, is Ostara. But there is a link to Easter, because Easter also always follows the spring equinox, aka Ostara. And Easter always happens the first Sunday after the full moon that occurs on or after the spring equinox. That's how Easter is determined. And that's why Easter always moves around each year.
Do you have any idea how Christianity adopted it?
There was a Roman emperor, I can't remember his name, but it's the same thing. Just like, we want you to adopt Christianity and leave paganism.
So appropriation.
This sounds close enough. Why don't you celebrate this instead?
Oh, okay.
And it's around the same time.
We need to start keeping count, because that's like the third one that it's like some sort of Judeo-Christian entity has taken over some of the more pagan holidays, right?
Yeah.
We did Halloween, Day of the Dead, and now Easter.
Uh-huh.
And Christmas too, technically, right?
Yeah, Christmas
But we
too.
didn't do a Christmas episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of ties. It's very interesting. Things build on each other.
Do you know where the bunnies and the eggs come from?
They're just symbols of fertility. Eggs because like eggs can bring life, and then bunnies just because.
See, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I have some Christian friends, and Christmas and Halloween, they don't always like bat an eye, but sometimes I've had some with like them saying like, well, Easter really is not like a Christian like tradition or holiday. Like they celebrate it, but they're like, that one's really the one that's like kind of off. I guess Halloween too, but like I've had some close Christian friends tell me like, yeah, no, it's pretty pagan. Like, you know,
It's interesting because they chose that day for Jesus to be
exactly. Well,
resurrected.
yeah. So it's just interesting. You know, it depends on I guess what sect or what denomination you talk to, but I have heard some division of like, well, we don't really celebrate Easter because it has nothing to do with even I guess the birth of Jesus. Like the bunny has nothing to do with that, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, so it's very interesting that they chose to align their rebirth story with all of these other rebirth stories. Like, I mean, if you're gonna pick any day, that is the perfect time. So
To align it, yeah.
yeah,
And now who do you pray to again?
Persephone.
Persephone. And what etymology is Persephone from? Greek or
Yeah.
And then what about this Easter goddess you talked about?
She's more like Western German.
Western German. Okay, so maybe Gaelic or no,
No,
Germanic.
German.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. Kind of where all the gods come from and all the different histories, but I'm sure there's a lot of overlap, right? Because there's a lot of same narratives that are shared across cultures and countries and time periods.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Anything else about Easter? Or I guess the spring equinox?
All of this stuff, this 4-for-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just really interesting, and I am just happy that it's not raining anymore. I'm happy that we're starting to trend a little more on the warmer side.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Now, help me clarify. You might have explained it, but I don't know if I understood it. So there's the spring equinox and the fall equinox. Is the fall equinox also a new year? No.
No. The fall equinox is just like a midway point. It's celebrating that it's gonna start getting cooler. It's gonna start getting darker. That we're going towards.
So it's like a mid-year, not a new year.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said Aries is kind of the prominent astrological figure in this time. Is there other ones or just Aries?
No, just Aries, because the sun moves into Aries the same day of the spring equinox.
And what are we coming out of? What sign are
Pisces. Pisces is the end of the astrological year.
And then just for my own curiosity, so what is Pisces more known for?
Pisces is more known for being very creative, emotional. It's a water sign, less structured. A lot of the Pisces people that I know are not very organized, unless maybe they have some balancing characteristics.
If you're a Pisces and if you listen to the podcast, please call Genesis out on our community post.
A lot of Pisces I know are very go with the flow.
Okay. So the reason I ask is like, so what's the transition? Obviously, with the 4 seasons. We go from spring to summer. So it's like sunny, picking up, and then summer's really sunny. And then from summer, it starts slowing down. So there's like a natural progression. So I was just curious if there's like a natural progression from like Pisces to Aries? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Pisces, like I said, is a little less structured. At the end of the year, you're just kind of waiting for the new year to happen, so you're just kind of vibing,
just chilling.
Yeah.
And then Aries, you said it's like new beginnings, grab life by the horns,
Mm-hmm.
get shit done.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a Pisces and a Sagittarius?
A Sagittarius is a fire sign, and a Pisces is a water sign.
Okay, but like in their attributes, because they sound kind of similar, no?
Sagittarius is very much get stuff done. Pisces is not.
But they said not Pisces, Aries. Sorry, Aries and Sagittarius.
Okay. So, it's in a different part of the. I have to pull this up.
Well, I'm not even asking about like the detailed. I'm talking about the nuances. Just, I don't know. You always say that my Sagittarius energy is really high, but then just the way you described Aries energy coming up, it sounds similar. But I don't know. This is like from a non, give me the spark notes on it.
Yeah. So basically, any of the signs that you have towards the beginning, because the rotation is a fire sign, an earth sign, an air sign, and then a water
Like
sign.
Avatar.
Yes.
Like Avatar. Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's the rotation.
Oh.
So it is air. So you start with Aries, then you go to Taurus, then you go to Gemini, then you go to Cancer. And then you repeat the cycle. Then you go to...
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess my question was a lot more simple. Like the way you described Aries also describes like Sagittarius. Like,
yeah, but let me
okay.
explain. Let me explain. So you have groups of 4, right?
Yeah.
So the first group of 4, they are a little more... how can I say this? Like a little more novice in terms of like their grasp on certain energies. So like in Aries is like a premature Sagittarius. We have to do a whole episode to really clarify like what all of this means, but I'll try to sort of recap it right now. So in Aries, it's called a cardinal sign. So that means that they can get things started.
Okay.
Aries is the first in the zodiac, but the first fire sign. But then other cardinal signs are the first in their element too.
In their perspective group.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So, or in terms of like the season, I should say.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's that for Aries. And then for Sagittarius is a mutable sign. So...
Mutable?
Yes.
Okay.
So that means, and the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. That means that they can really vibe and sort of follow through with the plans, but the other ones can get it started, but they might burn out a little bit quicker. So I think the best way is to visualize this example. Let's say you go to the club with 2 friends.
Yeah.
With an Aries and with a Sagittarius. So the Aries will immediately be like, woohoo, let's get fucked up, let's go drink. But then, they can't hold their liquor. They start throwing hands and then you get kicked out.
I haven't been kicked out, but I've been with people that have been kicked out.
And then the night is over by like 10 because you just burned out too quickly.
Yeah.
Versus like a Sagittarius can do everything that like an Aries can do, but they can last the whole night and they have a little more discretion. However, Aries gets the party started while Sagittarius just can kind of like keep an eye on it, and then if nobody starts anything, then the Sagittarius can start it, but the Aries naturally wants to start.
It almost sounds like the Sagittarius is like the older brother. Got it. Okay, cool. And so that's I was just curious because like you were mentioning Aries, and I was like, oh, this sounds very similar to Sagittarius. And I'm a Leo, so it's just funny how much you always infer that I have very big Sagittarius tendencies.
But you do with your rising.
I know. I'm not saying I don't, but I don't know. I just think I'm picking it up basically.
And then I might as well wrap this up. So then there are fixed signs, and the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And they're a little more, I would say, like idealistic, especially Leo, because you and I have a lot of Leo tendencies. We always have an idea of like how things should be and like how people should also act as well.
Yeah.
That like a big motto we have is like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And that's probably what we're going to tell our kids as like people with a lot of fixed sign placements.
That makes sense. Cool. I think that's a good grasp. And, like you mentioned, a very particular year, so take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. So alluding a little back to the beginning of the episode, what I was going to say with the allergies, and we can go into our personal examples, is I've always had allergies growing up, but I thought that was just like a me thing. I didn't really see it like across the board with my peer groups. I had such bad allergies that I had my tonsils removed when I was younger. That because I guess when I was like a little kid, like they would always get like infected and I would be snoring. And so and I think my allergies exasperated it, is from what I remember. Um, but two things. I think that tonsillectomy is not as common anymore. I hear it's kind of an antiquated process or practice, much like a lobotomy. So I was one of the few who had that procedure done. So I always kind of had allergies, but I thought it was a particular case. I don't really remember allergies being a thing back in the day. But now I feel like allergies, maybe because we have the information highway, so people share their experiences. But I feel like everybody has horrible allergies now. Like, I feel like it's so much worse than it was. Your allergies are bad. I thought I had bad allergies. I met the one person on this planet who has worse allergies than I do, and let me tell you, it is rough. So,
It's because I grew up like Bubble Boy, and my mom always sterilized everything, and she didn't let me eat dirt as a kid.
But I didn't.
You did.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a bubble, and I still had really bad allergies. But like, I don't remember like my cousins having allergies or my peer groups. Like, I would always get my eyes super itchy. And again, like I said, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but I am curious if allergies have gotten worse over the years, or we just hear about it more. Or like maybe with climate change or different, just progressions in how quickly the world moves. I'm just curious about that. And that's really the only thing I had to talk about with the Spring Equinox episode. I was like, I'm going to vent about my allergies, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to be able to relate. So if you have really, really bad allergies, let us know, because we can suffer together. And then there's that like supposed, I've heard it's been it's been proven that it's not effective, but the whole, like, if you buy local honey, it helps with your allergies, because I guess the thought process was like, well, the bees that like pollinate your local honey is kind of what you're exposed to, so your body has like a better immunology response to it. However, I've seen pictures of allergens or pollen under a microscope, and they're gross. They look like those like spiky balls that fall outside.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't even know if it's like a body response. It's just like, imagine microscopic little shits going up in your nose, your nasal cavity, and your eyes. So I heard the honey thing has been disproven, but yeah, I'm really curious to hear about people's allergies. My mom doesn't get allergies, so I don't know. Maybe it's our generation thing.
I have a particular shellfish allergy where crab and lobster doesn't trigger it, but every other shellfish triggers it. My coworker, she made cricket cookies, so now there's like a new sustainable movement.
I forgot to ask you, how were those?
I couldn't eat them because there was a warning: if you have a shellfish allergy, you can't consume them.
Got it.
Because your allergies will be triggered, because it's very similar to like shrimp, apparently. So I didn't get to try.
But it's weird because you'll eat lobster, you'll eat everything but shrimp, and you're fine, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But I just didn't want to risk it being 4 hours away from home.
Yeah.
I was like, is there an in-network hospital here? I don't know about this.
Got it. Oh, and another example that I totally forgot about is I didn't really know about Easter because we never celebrated Easter. I kind of knew the egg thing because that's just cities put that on, so I kind of knew. But one thing that I didn't find out till I was like a senior in high school, I was at my best friend's house, and he had like a bunch of candy, like good candy, like the big bars, and I was like, where the hell did you get all this candy? He's like, my Easter basket? I was like, what the fuck is an Easter basket? So I never knew what an Easter basket was until I was like a senior in high school. And I guess for people who don't know, like, you get a basket from your parents. It's kind of like Christmas, right? But it's just like I guess not necessarily Christmas because it's not wrapped. You can see what it is, but they'll put like candy, and like the higher your socioeconomic level, the better the Easter basket.
Of course.
What are your experiences with Spring Equinox or Easter?
Yeah, we would go to church. That was a big thing.
Oh, you did? I've never been to Easter service.
You have to.
Describe it.
Everyone's praising Jesus. He came back. He rose from the dead. Yeah. So you're praising Jesus. And then you probably get some good food, and then if you're a little kid, you do the egg hunt.
Yeah.
So sometimes our candies, some people put straight money.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
done some with money. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what it is. There's a lot that leads up to it. Like there's Lent, which is, before
Is that where you give up something for 40 days?
yeah. Yeah. So there's just a lot of things like leading up to it, so it's coming. Good Friday, all that stuff.
And what good memories do you have?
Yeah, I guess just being a little kid and finding the eggs, and it felt like a scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You would go looking for it, your parents would go hide it, and then you would go find it. It was a lot of fun.
So you had little plastic eggs, I'm assuming?
Yeah, with candy.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I did most of those through like public programs like the city, or I don't remember ever going to a church and doing an Easter egg hunt though.
My family always celebrated like by themselves. I never did anything with other people. It was always like a very private thing for us.
Wait, but so your parents put out the eggs?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine my in-laws putting out eggs for you. I'm sorry.
When we were little, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, they did it.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. And then did you ever get an Easter basket?
No, we just did the eggs. And
Okay. But you knew what an Easter basket was?
the only Easter basket concept I knew was a basket to collect the eggs you found.
Oh, okay. But you know what Easter baskets are, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
People
like, you see
are
them at the stores now. And,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but growing up, maybe it was where I grew up, but growing up, I never heard of like Easter basket in that way.
Mm.
It was just like you would get an Easter basket, so it would be easier for your scavenger hunt.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you, and you ask me, what is your ideal Easter basket?
I like Reese's cups.
Okay.
So
But there's others like, so I've gone to the store and they have like themed ones. So sometimes they have like little race cars or balls, or like, it's not necessarily just candy. So what's your ideal Easter basket as an adult, as a 28-year-old fully fledged woman?
I would probably say some Fenty sunscreen, because we're symboling that like the sun is coming back, and like I don't know, just someone that like is not pale. Just traditional sunscreens leave like a white cast and it gets all disgusting. So good sunscreen. Maybe like a cute makeup product that's like a pop of color to signify like spring. I still want my candy though. Damn.
Okay, well,
why are you trying to take my candy away
I'm
from
not
me?
saying you can't have candy. I'm just saying there's other options. So what candies?
I want my candy. Reese's cups.
Okay, the egg ones.
I don't care. Just I like Reese's cups in general.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's really the only things I could think of.
Okay. Mine would have Zyrtec and eye drops. I found these eye drops and they sting like a motherfucker. It's the worst feeling. I was with my cousin when I put them on. Oh my gosh, it feels like a hot iron is going through your eyes.
Ugh.
But man, I think it had like menthol in it too.
Ew.
But afterwards, it was like the best relief. So it hurt really bad, but then it felt really good. So yes, I would have Zyrtec. I would have eye drops. I would take some Pokemon cards in there, just some unopened packs.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I'd have candy. I feel like I've been really candied out recently. I've been eating a lot of candy. What else would I have in there? I think maybe a couple hats and a watch. That would be my ideal Easter basket. So we don't have to practice Christian traditions, but maybe next year we can give each other an Easter basket.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And there are so many baskets. There's also boo baskets for Halloween.
What the fuck's a boo basket?
Same concept.
Gosh, that's
Yeah.
just some rich people shit, honestly.
Where are we gonna go with the baskets? Maybe there's a St. Patrick's Day basket.
Just everything green theme.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So I don't think we got any questions for the solstice,
No,
did we?
no.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So as far as the questions, I have. Well, go first. Do you have any questions for me?
What are you looking forward to now that spring is here and it's getting warmer and it's not rainy and stuff outside?
Yeah, it's funny because my question is pretty similar. So again, same wavelength. I'm really looking forward to actually our tree. Believe it or not, that's something I've been really excited for. Though we've alluded to it, or we've talked about this in the past. But this Valentine's, we we bought a lemon tree. So I'm really excited to kind of be able to see it. It's probably not going to grow much, but at least like it's not going to be in the storm. So just looking forward to watering it. Even earlier today, I talked about like I want to go buy some mulch for it. So that'll be a fun project. And funny enough, we actually are finally putting some finishing touches on our backyard. So I think it'll be really nice to spend some time in our backyard. I wouldn't say that our backyard is huge by any means, but I think from what we've come from, like our backyard is pretty big. Like we have a lot of room. So, just being out there, I would say like grilling more, but I've grilled in even the the worst of conditions because it's like a 3-in-1. So I just throw on the gas grill. So, but I think that'll be exciting. And then, just being able to go out more and not be all cooped up because of the rain. Even though I will say, like, a little bit of rain and a little bit of gloominess is nice. And you just, get under a blanket and, watch a TV show, have some hot cocoa. I did enjoy that during the winter. But, yeah, I think just going out more. And I kind of follow the what's it called? The academic calendar, but it's all over the U.S., so these next few weeks should slow down a little bit at work because there's like spring break, and that'll be nice. Also, spring breaks have gotten longer. I remember I only had a week. I know some schools that do like multiple weeks now.
I don't know if this is why, but I know it was why back when I used to work at a school and they did the same thing for winter break too. Is because a lot of parents would go to Mexico for like a month and be like, you could miss school. And then they'd be like, just give them a homework packet. So now to encourage people to like not miss school as much, they start earlier and then later to accommodate for like longer breaks.
Like vacations and things like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But then the parents would be like, sweet, no, we're going to stay longer and you'll still only miss 2 weeks of school. It's really funny. But
yeah. So that's kind of what I am looking forward to. What about you?
Yeah. I want to go back to the gym. If my gym buddy is willing to join me again, I don't know. Maybe she's over my shit because I took a long break. For those of you that don't know, Lucy got injured and she had a little...
I don't think anybody knows from our listeners.
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But yes, our baby got injured.
Yeah, she got injured. She had her leg wrapped up for like a week. It's finally off, but she's still recovering. So we still can't go on walks, but I'm looking forward to when it's healed and we can go on walks again. And then, yeah, I'm just looking forward to not having seasonal affective disorder anymore.
Yeah.
Give me the sun.
Nice. I think those are good plans. My question is based on what you talked about earlier, and it's pretty similar to what you asked me, but I want to practice what we preach on this podcast. I got called out a little bit. Somebody's like, I really enjoyed what you said last week, and I was like, what did I say? Sometimes I forget, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, but I don't want to be hypocritical. So, what are your plans for this particular equinox that you talked about? What are the things that you're like, I just want to try something without having an end goal? I just want to jump into it based on creativity, on self-fulfillment without necessarily having to reach something. What is that going to be for you?
For me, it's going back to the gym, and again, not like having a specific goal in mind, but more just like, I don't know. I just remember when I went, I would feel happy. So I just want to have those feel good endorphins again. And like, I don't know, it was nice when I would feel like, oh my God, I can't lift that. And then I did, not necessarily like I want to lift this much, but it's like, I'm just excited to move my body and like see, oh, I can do this, I'm really trying to approach it. And last year I was really good. I was really consistent, getting up at 5 a.m. every day. And what got me through it was not like focusing on what I can't do, but what I can do. And I surprised myself a lot, like, oh, I can do this. So taking that same mentality and just getting back into it and having fun.
Nice. That's really good. For me, I kind of want to get back into playing Pokemon. It's been years now. I think the pandemic put a big holes in it, and then I never got back into it. So
Pokemon in what way though? Like
trading card game.
Okay.
Yeah, trading card game. So I think I've talked about Pokemon on this podcast, but originally I was playing a lot. That's how I got back into it. And then I had a YouTube channel for a few years where I was collecting cards. And I liked the collecting, but I never liked it as much as actually playing. But I really, really had a calling to get back into it because it's such a fun community. And like there's like tournaments and it's just fun all around. And I have enough people in my social group who would play with me. So that is one thing I want to do. And then I kind of had just a little spur of like inspiration a few months ago. And I talked about it on the podcast where I was doing some art. And I really want to get back to that. The motivation is still there. It's just our time commitments are so crazy. And that's maybe one thing we need to work on as well. Is just like not stretching ourselves thin. Even though we're doing a lot of great things, right? We're volunteering with our community. We're spending time with our friends. We're going to like a wedding on Saturday. So we're doing a lot of positive things. But I've also kind of felt a shift. I also got a promotion recently. I don't know if I spoke about it on this podcast. So that's 2 for 2 in the Duong household on promotions. But my schedule has like drastically changed. So I have to like adjust my lifestyle to kind of the new demands. But yeah, so art and Pokemon are going to be like my things that I'll focus on. So we gotta hold each other accountable, and maybe our listeners can help us stay accountable to that. Ask us questions. Ask like, hey, how's it going, Pokemon? How's it going at the gym? And then we'll see like, you know, kind of what our community has to say. We also would love to hear maybe what are some endeavors that you've been scared of trying, or being like, well, I don't want to get started because either it costs a lot of money or I don't have time, or like even like what are people going to say? Like I know a lot of people who don't do something based on like the perception that people are going to have. Luckily, I've never had an issue with that. I'm like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Like I'll do it. But I do know that can be a hurdle for a lot of people. So it sounds like right now also might be a good time to kind of let some of that shit go. What do you think?
Yeah, with eclipse season and the spring equinox together, yeah, for sure.
Cool. So I think that's all we have. Fun episode, not too much debate or disagreement. I think these last couple episodes I really like because I feel like we can find a good middle ground of like, hey, I might not believe that because the stars are here we should do this, but I do believe we should do it because it's good, you know, for the mind, body, and if you believe the soul.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I like astrology. It reminds me, oh yeah, I do have to do this. Might as well do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Housekeeping. Our merch store is still up. We also still have our what is it? We're not donations, but our.
If you want to donate to the podcast, we have that Spotify link, or if you would rather donate in other ways, you can check the link in my bio.
And I was kind of looking at that. You can go as like little as 99 cents a month if you're just interested. So
yeah,
interested in sending that.
Yeah, if you'd like to be a reoccurring sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how I'm like, don't think about money, but also give us money.
So next week's topic.
Oh, next week's topic is going to be ghost hunting. And also keep an eye out because Genesis is going to post the topics for the month of April. And we have some good ones. There's one I've been really dying to do, and we're going to do it. So
yeah. So April will be posted very soon. If you have any questions, if you'd like to book a reading, if you'd like to send some cool memes or tell us what your plans are for this new astrological year or the spring equinox, my Instagram is Genkahlo, GENKAHLO, or if you'd rather get in touch by email, tarotwithgenesis@gmail.com. Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off.
Bye, everyone.